Alrighty, y'all, it's Reese, aka Bearman Prime, on this March 25th. Welcome back to my Read the Bible in a Year series. Thank you again for joining me. Card the top right hand corner for the rest of the playlist. And please, if you're enjoying this series, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you stay caught up. Let me know how I'm doing. Thanks so much. Alright, so yesterday we saw how Saul, son of Kish of the tribe of Benjamin, was appointed and anointed the first king of Israel. He is now the rightful ruler over the people of Israel, and he is gathering followers in the midst of their current conflict with the Philistines. Let's continue the story, and let's see what happens with Saul's son, Jonathan, in 1 Samuel chapter 14 today, starting in verse 1. That day, Saul's son Jonathan was talking with the young man who carried his weapons. Jonathan said, Let's go to the Philistine camp on the other side of the valley. But Jonathan did not tell his father. Saul was sitting under a pomegranate tree at the threshing floor at the edge of the hill. Saul had about 600 men with him. One of the men was named Ahijah. Ahijah was a son of Ichabod's brother Ahitub. Ahitub was the son of Phinehas. Phinehas was the son of Eli. Eli had been the Lord's priest at Shiloh. Now Ahijah was the priest who wore the ephod. These men did not know that Jonathan had left. Jonathan was planning to go through a pass to get to the Philistine camp. There was a large rock on each side of the pass. The large rock on one side was named Bozez. The large rock on the other side was named Seneh. One of the rocks faced north toward Michmash, and the other faced south toward Geba. Jonathan said to his young helper who carried his weapons, Come on, let's go to the camp of those foreigners. Maybe the Lord will use us to defeat them. Nothing can stop the Lord. It doesn't matter if we have many soldiers or just a few soldiers. The young man who carried Jonathan's weapon said to him, Do what you think is best. Whatever you decide, I am with you all the way. Jonathan said, Let's go. We'll cross the valley and go to the Philistine guards. We'll let them see us. If they say to us, Stay there until we come to you, we will stay where we are. We won't go up to them. But if the Philistine men say, Come up here, then we will climb up to them. That will be a sign from God. That will mean that the Lord will allow us to defeat them. So Jonathan and his helper let the Philistines see them. The Philistine guard said, Look, the Hebrews are coming out of the holes they were hiding in. The Philistines in the fort shouted to Jonathan and his helper, Come up here, we'll teach you a lesson. Jonathan said to his helper, Follow me up the hill. The Lord is letting Israel defeat the Philistines. So Jonathan climbed up the hill with his hands and feet, and his helper was right behind him. Jonathan and his helper attacked them. In the first attack, they killed 20 Philistines in an area about 1/2 acre in size. Jonathan fought the men who attacked from the front. His helper came behind him and killed the men who were only wounded. Great fear spread among the Philistine soldiers, those in the field, in the camp, and at the fort. Even the bravest soldiers were afraid. The ground began to shake, and they were completely overcome with fear. Saul's guards at Gibeah in the land of Benjamin saw the Philistine soldiers running away in different ways. Saul said to the army with him, Count the men. I want to know who left camp. They counted the men. Jonathan and his helper were gone. Saul said to Ahijah, Bring God's holy box! At that time, God's holy box was there with the Israelites. Saul was talking to Ahijah the priest, waiting for advice from God. But the noise and confusion in the Philistine camp was growing and growing. Saul was becoming impatient. Finally, he said to Ahijah the priest, That's enough! Put your hand down and stop praying. Saul gathered his army together and went to the battle. The Philistine soldiers were very confused. They were even fighting with each other with their swords. They were Hebrews who served the Philistines in the past and who stayed in the Philistine camp. But now these Hebrews joined the Israelites with Saul and Jonathan. All the Israelites who had hidden in the hill country of Ephraim heard the Philistine soldiers were running away. So these Israelites also joined in the battle and began chasing the Philistines. So the Lord saved the Israelites that day. The battle moved on past Beth Aven. The whole army was with Saul. He now had about 10,000 men. The battle spread to every city in the hill country of Ephraim. All right, well, there you have it. So what seemed like foolishness and hot-headedness on Jonathan's side was actually a step of faith. As you can see, Jonathan was letting God decide what was going to happen. He's obviously feeling like he's being moved to do his patriotic duty of fighting the Philistines, and so he waited from a sign of God from God to see what was going to happen. And of course, we see how God delivered the Philistine into Jonathan's hands. We see how Saul responded too. So Saul was he tried to do the right thing. He tried to wait for a response from God, but after a while, he was like, "Okay, can't hear a thing, can't hear myself think. All right, that's enough. Let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just go." And so they just charged on into battle without waiting for a proper response from God. His army grew, and of course, he achieved a great victory that day. But we see, some of the cracks in Saul's armor, as it were, some of the weaknesses that may not bode well for him in his reign. So that's all for today. We'll pick it up tomorrow. Thank you again for joining me. I sure do appreciate it. I'll see y'all tomorrow.